Hey guys, Jim here. Today I'm going to be I'm going to attempt to pull the bed off of my 2001 F250 four-door rear-wheel drive Super Duty. And the reason I'm doing that is because at some point along the lines, one of the owners had put I'm not sure if it's a gooseneck or a fifth wheel support bar across the bottom of the bed of the truck. And Chris and I just bought a 1997 Jayco 36-foot fifth wheel, and I need to get hitch put into the back of the truck. So I'm installing the rails. There's some support plates, I guess you can call them, that go and mount to the frame underneath the bed of the truck. And because that gooseneck support bar was put in there and it's homemade, it's not bought from a company or anything. It's something that somebody manufactured and put in there, and it's a pretty good one. It's pretty thick. It's probably quarter to half-inch thick metal. Unfortunately, I can't use that. I just put one of the fifth wheel hitch rails in the bed of my truck and discovered that the holes line up, but there's no support. So I still have to take the bed off my truck, remove that gooseneck support that goes across, and then put the bed of the truck back on, and then put these plates onto the frame, which is going to involve, from what I understand, some kind of drilling, but maybe not, because I think the drilling was to go through the bed of the truck, and those are already there. I may have to enlarge the holes a little bit though. But yeah, so with that being said, let's get to it. Okay, so this is the back of my truck, obviously, and like I said, it's a 2001 F250 diesel with the short bed. I got a slider hitch off of Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace. Got a really good deal on that. It's a Curt brand. I think it's E16, something like that. So I have a toolbox. Obviously, I took it off. No big deal. If you're going to do this, then you'll have to figure out how to get your toolbox off. But mine was a mess, so I kind of put it into two groups. The one on the right over here is the stuff that's going to go back into the truck. All this stuff is from when I've been working on jobs, and I just kind of toss everything back into the truck. That stuff is going to go back into my disgusting storage shed of a shop / man cave. These are the support plates that need to go up on the frame, and because there is a support up underneath there, yeah, there we are, this plate right here up at the top, you can see how it goes straight across to the other side, and this is welded together. It's hopefully not welded to the frame, but this is bolted into the frame. I've got to take the bed of the truck off, unbolt that support, take the support off, put the bed of the truck back on, and then put these plates on there, because those rails there's another one that actually comes across here, will get attached to the bed of the truck. And then the fifth wheel hitch, which is actually in Chris's truck at the moment, is going to, that's the fifth wheel hitch, that will attach to the rails. So I've been watching some YouTube videos, and this is a pretty cut and dry process. I have sprayed the 8 bolts that hold the bed on to the frame with WD-40 and letting that soak. And from what I understand, these bolts here are T50, so I don't have any of those. I've ordered them from Lowe's along with a few other things that I needed for other things. So I'm waiting for them to tell me that my order is ready, and I'll probably soak these again a couple of times before I try and take them out. The bolts don't look too rusted, but I just want to make sure that I'm not breaking them off and then creating new issues. So with that being said, I'll be back in a little bit after I get the T50 to see if we can get these bolts out of here, and then I'll put you on a tripod and probably put you on fast forward so it's not real boring. I'll be back. Hey guys, okay, here's the status of things. I did not go to Lowe's to pick up the T50 bits. I actually found one here at the house that fit my air gun, and I don't know how long it is, but I have a kind of like a 1 foot, it's not a ratchet because it's stationary, but it was easy enough to get these bolts out, and I think it's because they had taken the bed off of this truck prior to put that support beam on for the gooseneck. So I had also put a bunch of WD-40 on there and let it soak for about an hour or so. So I'm not sure if that helped, but I put the T50 on there and I didn't have any problems except for one. There's one that's going to be difficult. I used my air gun to get these out of here. Let me show you where we're at. So there's 8 bolts altogether. Got 4 on each side. So 1, 2, 3 are out. That 4th one up there by the cab is being difficult. It does turn, but it won't come completely out. It actually only turns maybe half to 1 turn and then stops. So I put some more WD-40 on there, tried putting it in, tried taking it out several times just to kind of loosen it up. And there's 4 on each side. So these 4 are actually all out. And I couldn't believe how easy they came out. This is what they look like. A little corrosion, but they'll go back in fine. I'll put some, I'll clean them up and be able to reuse them. That's what the T50 looks like on the top. And they're probably, I don't know, 7-8 inches long. And these are what tie the bed of the truck onto the frame. So I'm going to let the WD-40 kind of soak in there a little bit. And I was going to put you on a tripod so you could watch, but this was easy enough. There's not really a whole lot to see as far as, undoing screws. So I'll be back. Hey guys, it's about, I don't know, 6 hours later from when I started this thing or left off the last time. But anyways, I had one bolt that just wouldn't come out, and so I had to do the trick that everybody on YouTube says to do, and that is pretty much make a cross in the bolt itself and cut into, as much as I can, the washer. Get rid of the washer, and then your grinder will slide up underneath the head of the bolt, and then just cut the head of the bolt off. So I did that. All the bolts are out. I loosened and got the wiring out of the tail lights. So it's pretty much free. It is almost 6 o'clock, And right now I'm in my shop, which is, I've got the air conditioning on. It's just a little mini split, but it's 93 degrees in the shop, and I've got fans blowing on me, so I'm hot. It is, I think, 96 out. Today's like June, no, it's July 8th, I think, of 2025. So we're outside of Atlanta in one of the suburbs, and it's hot this season so far. So I'm going to call it a day. I asked one of my neighbors if he could come down and help Chris and I uh, take this thing off, and he's busy right now. So we're going to continue this as soon as we can get the bed of the truck off. I may go ahead and film that. It's not going to be very exciting, but something for you to watch. We're just going to basically lay down a blanket next to the truck. I've got a 2002 Isuzu Axiom that I've been working on next to the truck, and it's incapacitated at the time. It's not running. It needs a whole lot of work. That'd be another video for another time. But we're just going to lift the bed off of the Ford, and I guess try and lay it on its side and get this contraption off of the frame. All I have is 4 bolts, and hopefully it'll just lift right off, and then we can get the bed of the truck back on. It'll probably take 15 minutes, and I've been waiting 6 hours to get this thing done. I've been soaking that bolt all day with penetrating oil and WD-40, and it would give a little bit, but I think there's a little, I don't know what you call it, but it's what the bolt screws into. It's not a nut. Acts as a nut, but it's not a nut. I'm the nut. But it it clips onto the frame, and it's what the bolt screws into through the frame, so it holds it in place. But I think that's what was swiveling around, and it wasn't giving. I even got up underneath the truck and sprayed some penetrating oil as close to it as I could. I'm not sure where it was because I couldn't see it. It's like right next to the fuel tank, and that goes up to pretty much the bottom of the bed of the truck. So anyways, we'll get this thing up and off in the morning, hopefully, and it'll be a little bit cooler. I started this at 7 o'clock this morning, so it's almost 6 o'clock now, although I haven't been at it all day. I've been trying to get it off all day. Not much luck. So I'll continue this tomorrow. Hey everybody. It's the following day. It's about 8:30 in the morning on, I don't know what day this is anymore. Wednesday, I think. Yesterday on Tuesday, I was trying to get the bed off the F250 to get some stuff off of it so I can get these plates put on for the fifth wheel hitch. Anyways, I found last night after one of my neighbors came over that there is a piece of metal. I'm not sure if it's sheet metal or what, but it goes from one of the stabilizer bars of the bed, and it goes underneath this mounted piece of framework that they put on, which is what I'm trying to get off of the truck, over to another stabilizer bar on the bed of the truck, or the truck bed. And so I have to get that off before we can actually lift the bed of the truck off. So I'll put you on a tripod and maybe get some footage of what I'm doing, and I'll get up underneath the truck and show you what I'm trying to take off as far as the gooseneck support, as well as this little piece of, I think it's sheet metal, and why they put it on there, I have no idea. But we're going to get that off, and then we should be able to get the truck bed off, and probably only take me 10 minutes to unbolt the gooseneck support and get the that support taken off, and then we can get the truck bed put back on and get the plates for the fifth wheel hitch put on, so I can get the rails mounted into the truck bed. So, okay, guys, up underneath the truck, and that plate right there, where the light is shining, right here, is what I'm going to be taking off. They installed that apparently when they put this cross beam in. Let me see if I can get up under here and show you. It's a little difficult to see. You can kind of see the outer part of it. Right here is the cross beam that goes from one side of the truck over to the other side of the truck, and it hangs over the frame, which is this, and comes out over on the side over here. So it's U-shaped, and it sits on top of the frame. And for whatever reason, they put this shield on here. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe it's because they didn't want moisture to drip over the exhaust pipe or the gearbox back there in the back. But I got to get that shield off of there so that I can actually get the truck bed off. So that's what we're going to be working on. I'll be back in a moment. This is where our neighbor up the street came down to help us get the bed of the truck taken off of the truck. We tried a few of our helpers and friends, but this is one guy that lives up the street. Good guy. Came down to help us, and then he was on his way to work, so stopped by on his way to work to help us get the thing off the truck. Went very well. And then, after that was done, we stopped and chatted for a few minutes. Send a picture of that guy. Just trying to figure out what we were talking about. Okay. So the truck bed is off. We had a neighbor come up and help us get it off, and now I've got 4 bolts to take off. And I'll take the camera over there to show you what's going on. This is the support plate that is in the way of mounting these plates for the fifth wheel rails. So I've got to undo these 4 bolts. There's 2 on each side. This should lift up. I may have to knock these studs out here in order for this to fit properly. But this is supposed to fit. It's custom made. It's supposed to fit for this year make and model of truck. we'll see. We'll be back. Alright guys, here's what's going on. Here's where we're at. So we obviously got the bed off. We got the support plate for the gooseneck off. That's the whole reason for taking the bed off, is because these new rails right here won't fit onto the frame of the truck right there, because the side plate right there and over on that side were right where these plates need to go, and they had bolts sticking out. So we just dry fitted it, and according to the instructions, this has to come off. It's a hanger for one of the lines. I think that's for the brake line. And then we put this plate on top, or butted up against the frame there. That stud where we're going to take the hanger for the brake line out will go into that hole there, and then that hole there lines up with this one, so it'll be bolted up against there. And in the process, like I said earlier in the video, this bolt would not come out. So this is where we did the X or the plus and cut the head off in order to be able to get the bed of the truck off. So what I'm going to do is cut this bolt right at the base here, and then I'll be able to lift this up, push what's left of this down, take it out, and I've got new bolts going all the way around. So I got 8 new bolts, and the receiving end coming in, because these don't bolt into the frame itself like I thought they did. These are just clips that go over the frame that the bolts tie into. So that's where we're at. I'm going to get busy on getting that bolt out, and then I'm going to take a shot vac. There's a bunch of garbage, as you can see, in there, and then some up on the springs. So I'm going to just kind of clean things up a little bit, make it a little tidy. But as far as rust goes, it's not bad. I'm kind of surprised. I don't think it's been up in the northern territories very much. I want to say it's been in North Carolina, we're in Georgia, and I'm not sure exactly where else, but it's pretty clean for 26, 27 years old. All right, we'll get back to this. Hey guys, it's the following morning again. It is 8:45 on, let's see, I guess it's Thursday morning this morning, and got some progress done on the truck yesterday. So, Amazon shipment finally came in, oh, I guess it was 7:30 last night, something like that, and finally brought the bolts to reattach the bed to the truck. So, here, let me show you. Kind of worked on it last night. Didn't film it, but it's just all we did was we put the bed back on the frame and put in the new bolts to hold the bed to the frame. So these are all new, and there's 8 of them. Was able to get that one out. I actually ended up grinding the remainder of what was on there off, and then the clip I could bend up, and then what was remaining just came out of the frame. So fortunately that was a non-issue. And so yeah, we got the bed back up on the truck. I'm just pulling the wires back through. Got the wires through the slots for the tail lights, and I rehooked up the hookup for the RV, and then also in the bed there's another hookup. So those two are tied together on the same wiring harness. I'm not real happy with the way that clip attaches. You can see it down there. This clip, it's not clicking together while it's attached back to each other. It's not a solid connection. So I got to figure out, I don't want to be going down the road and have something happen that that connection become loose, because that also controls the electric brakes and all the lights and such on the trailer. So I need that to be solid, and I'm going to have to figure out how to make that click and solid connection, or what I'm going to have to do. So I'm going to get to it. I'm going to start taking off a bolt that holds. This is a bolt that needs to come off, and it's a hanger for the brake line, and the plate that goes in this spot here will slide over that bolt. It's got a hole in it for that bolt, or that stud rather. It'll slide over that. Then I put the bolt back on along with the hanger, and then another hole in the plate that goes on here. The support has a hole in it right here, so I put another bolt in there, and then I'm pretty sure that these holes and those holes line up with the rails. So I may have to enlarge those holes a little bit, because I think the bolts that I've got that attach that bottom plate under the bed, the rail attaches to that. So this is what goes up underneath, and this goes onto the frame of the truck. This hole and that hole are going to line up with those two holes there. So I just need to enlarge those. And I'm pretty sure that this hole is going to line up with one of those two holes there. And I'll just have to enlarge the hole, put the bolts through, and that is the rail there, which goes across the bed and attaches to these plates. So I'll put you on tripod, and it's going to be non-exciting. I'll fast forward so you don't have to sit and watch boring stuff. Hey y'all, welcome back. And sorry I forgot to turn the camera on earlier, so I'm not sure where I left off, but I did get the mounting plates put onto the truck, and it went fairly smoothly. Let me show you what I've got here. So that's the mounting plate. That's right here. And as you can see, it's got the 3 bolts mounted to the frame. And then I have put the rails for the 5th wheel hitch into the bed. Fortunately, the holes were already drilled into the bed over there, and these 4 here. So I just had to kind of enlarge them to 9/16 from whatever they were. And then you can see the bolts coming down from the bed into the mounting plate. So I'm still working on that and trying to get everything put in. But that bolt there has the hanger for brake line, and then there's going to be another one that you can probably see that it's got 2 holes there, so it's going to have another hanger. It's in there somewhere. Actually, I think it's right there. That's going to be hanging from up there as well. So it's coming along. It's we had a little bit of a rain break, so it's cleared up a little bit, but they're calling for off and on showers all day. So I'm going to see what I can get accomplished before the next batch of rain comes in, and I will update you when I get some more done. Well, it's been a while since I actually started this whole video project and doing the install on the 5th wheel hitch, but it is done. We've already picked up the RV. Today's actually August 2nd, I believe, and it's about 10:30 in the morning. So let me walk you through where everything is at. And here's the truck with the hitch on it. I've got everything put back together. You can see the rails are put in, and if you look there, you can see holes, oblong holes in the rails. And at the bottom of this hitch are, I'll just call them feet, and they fit into those holes. And then there's pins. There's a couple different kinds of holes, but the pins go straight through here. You can see a pin here, there's one up underneath there, and there's one up underneath here. And that's what holds the whole frame thing in together. So this is what they call a slide hitch. And I found out as we moved the trailer to its new location, because I did have it sitting, you can see the big brown spot up there. I did have it sitting there for a week or two, and code enforcement actually got called by what we're thinking was by the HOA. We're not in a real strict HOA residential neighborhood, but it was sitting in our front yard. And I don't blame somebody for calling them, but we had to move it down to the back and the side of the house. And in the process of doing that, I had to make a very tight turn. Fortunately, I have that slide on the truck because I was able to move the slide back because I have a short bed on this truck. I was able to move the slide back and it gave me that extra room so that the front part of the trailer wouldn't hit the backside of the cab of my truck. I had forgotten I had forgotten about the slide on the trailer on the hitch, and I hadn't moved it, and the front part of the trailer was actually rubbing up against the backside of my cab. Didn't do any damage. It actually was hitting the rubber seal on the window, and so the one part of the front of the trailer has some black mark from the rubber seal, but there was no damage done. And uh, I finally moved the hitch back and had no problem. I could actually do a 90-degree turn, if not more. So that came in real slick. But hitch is installed. Um, it works beautifully. And I guess that completes this project. The only thing I have left to do right now is I'm going to have to cut out the bed liner that I already have. It's a plastic bed liner. It's not the spray-on kind. And then get that reinstalled. So I won't bore you with that. That's just going to be cutting to make sure that these rails can go through there and go from there. So if you have any questions, drop some questions down in the comment section, and I'll try and do my best. I'm not an expert on this. I had to watch some videos on how to get this thing installed. But drop comments, subscribe. Thanks. Have a great day. Hope you enjoyed.